So I'll quickly run through the kit you need to make your slingshot.
So from left to right, the piece of wood you found and you're going to use for your slingshot. A little brush just to tidy up as you go along, because you're going to make a lot of dust and shavings, etc. A little folding saw to cut the frame to shape. Hacksaw to do likewise. A rasp that we're going to use that will remove any knots and things like that to make a nice smooth frame. A sharp knife and a Swiss Army knife. A couple of files. Some sandpaper. Twine to twine the handle at the end. Some varnish and a brush. And some elastic, scissors and a hole punch, and some kind of material that you can make a pouch out of.
So, you've got your frame. What we want to do first is just decide if you want to make a slingshot with the bark on or off. For today we're going to make one without the bark, so we're going to take this bark away. But first of all, just take off any bits that are sticking out, like where branches have been. Just take them off with a hacksaw, so you end up with a nice smooth frame. And so take off pieces like that. If you've got one of these, you can then make it smooth by just roughing off those pieces and smoothing it down. If not, you can just use your sandpaper to just smoothen that bit out. Next, what we want to do is to strip off the bark. So you want to be really careful when you're doing this. And I'm going to start off just with my Swiss Army knife. That's pretty blunt, to be honest, because you don't need something really sharp to take the bark away. So hold it like that and always use the knife going away from you. You can see the bark's coming away. So just keep going at that until you remove all the bark all the way around. So we've stripped off all the bark off of this one. Next thing to do is just to make the ends where you've cut the frame to size nice and smooth, just with a bit of sandpaper just on top, and then just go slightly down the side just to give it a nice finish. And then also, just because you've been stripping bark off, you will have made the frame not quite round, so the best thing to do is just to give it a bit of a sand, just to restore it back to being nice and round. So that's pretty good. Same for there. And we've got a nice smooth frame now. So to put the notches into the wood for the elastic to go into, we need to use a sharp knife. So the way we do that is just to make two lines at the top of the frame. Make two parallel lines in the wood there, and then we're going to scoop them out, and that will create a channel that our elastic can go into. So basically the way we do it is just have your knife there, again being super careful, and I find the best way is to hold the knife and turn the frame. And then what we do then is, again going away from yourself, just channel out some of the wood. So that's gone all the way around one side, and then I'm going to go back over the other side. So I'm just being really careful not to come back towards myself. I'm just pressing it to cut the shaving that I've already made from the other side. So channeled out the two notches on the top where we're going to eventually put our elastic. So now what we want to do is to channel out the handle, because what we want to do later is to put some twine around the handle to make it look cool. So again, using the sharp knife, similar process to the top notches. We're going to put a parallel line there and there, and then we're going to take out some of the wood from the middle. So the same as we did for the top. Again, I'm holding the knife and then turning the piece of wood. Seems to be easier for me. So starting at the line you've made, just again take away the wood going away from yourself. What you can do is just do it quite slowly at the line end, again away from yourself, and it'll mean you can then peel back some of the wood. I'm just gradually taking away a thin layer of wood just to recess the handle slightly. So you can see the handle starting to be recessed. And then what we do is do exactly the same from the other end. What we need to do then is just to really make a really nice clean line at each end. I'm just going to go over them with a file, just right up against the where we've cut out the line, just to make that a real good defined line, because that's where we're going to end up finishing the twining. So it needs to be a nice clean line. Just going to do that for the top and the bottom, and the bottom one, and then the last thing to do is, just because you've been shaving the wood away, again the handle's gone a little bit hexagonal, so just to take your sandpaper and just make it nice and circular again. So what I'm going to use is, I use some hemp twine, natural hemp twine. Get it on the internet, or you can just use string or garden string, whatever you want to use. And the way we do it is to wrap it around the handle. Just use some glue. So I'm just going to put some glue around start at the base of the slingshot. I'm just going to put a bit of glue just to get us started. And then just start twining. Start at the very bottom, starting off the trickiest bit. You just need to get the first line of twine on. Okay, so twined that all the way. I'm just going to run it really close to that edge and find like a natural finishing point, and then just snip it. And just make sure the final part of the twine is well glued. What I tend to do then as well is just press it down as well, just to try and finish it off. So there we go. So basically just using some just kind of any old outdoor varnish really. And I tend to just do the handle first, so we're just sealing in the hemp twine. So the varnish has dried, and we're ready now to look at putting the elastic and the pouch on. As a general rule, I would just say to do it about the length of your slingshot, so just roughly mark it out to there, and that's kind of the length you want. So I'll do that. 2 pieces. And then we need to make a pouch for that to go onto. So normally because I'm making loads of slingshots, I'm stamping out pouches out of some microfiber sheeting that I have. So, but for this purpose you could just find a piece of material, just cut a piece of mine off, and literally just do your own pouch by hand. So just try and copy like a pouch type shape, just freehand. You could draw it out on there if you wanted as well, maybe. Bit rough and ready, but it's okay. And then to put the elastic through, you're going to want to stamp some holes in it. So hopefully get it in the middle. Other end. So there we go. There's a pouch, 2 holes, and then we just need to thread through the elastic we go. So that's the elastic threaded onto the, so then we've got one outfit ready to go on. So now we'll tie that to the frame. I think that's the best way to have it. We just literally attach it from the inside out, so this way outwards, and we can pull that tight into the groove, and that's ready to be tied. So that's it tied on. Just trim the string. And there we go, one slingshot. Give it a little test, make sure you're happy with it. Feels pretty good. Job done.